Welcome back to my channel. In today's video of living our best life is going to be all about our thoughts. We're going to be focusing in this video on our thoughts. How do they shape our life? Can we control them? Can we pick which ones we want to engage in? Where do our thoughts actually even come from? Again, how do they affect our life experience? Thoughts are the precursor, as cognitive behavioral therapy is teaching us. Thoughts are the precursor to our emotions. Then our emotions produce feelings. And then from those feelings, we have behaviors. Like from our feelings, our behaviors are produced. So thoughts actually hold a lot of power in how we experience our internal self, our self in relation to our outside world, whether it is in the work environment, our love romantic relationships, family dynamics, our friendships, pretty much in anything. And the one challenging thing about thoughts is that a lot of them are unconscious and or subconscious. So we kind of have to pay attention to what they are in order for us to understand what we are predominantly feeling each and every day and why we behave in the ways that we do. This is Anna Morfides with Many Hearts Counseling. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Living Your Best Life. So whether you're watching from YouTube or listening on the podcast, welcome. Let's dig right into it. So, as mentioned, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, states our thoughts produce our emotions. Emotions then go into feelings, because emotions last 90 seconds, and then the feelings that are secondary to that primary emotion actually can last a lifetime. And then we go into our behaviors, because those feelings will drive our behaviors. Our emotions and our feelings drive our behaviors. And they form this triangle, because then that behavior will produce more thoughts. And then those thoughts will either continue to perpetuate that same emotion, the primary predominant emotion, and then maybe a different secondary feeling, and then more behaviors. And then it's just like this loop that you have full control over. Once we know that we have full control over what predominant thoughts are running our system and essentially shaping our life, then we can be in full control of how our life does unfold around us. And also, when we pay attention to our thoughts and our feelings, we get a lot of information about what our core beliefs are, what level of self-confidence is at, what our self-concept is, like who do we think that we are in relation to the world, what is still remaining from my childhood that was absorbed in the form of a thought that that would be ideal to let go so we can live a freer and happier life. Most of our thoughts, because they are unconscious, and we have something ridiculous like 40,000 thoughts a day. Once we pay attention, it's a lot easier to see what thoughts we want to engage with, hold on to, and allow to essentially shape our emotions and drive our behavior. So if you are having thoughts such as, no one likes me, say you're at a party and you feel like no one likes me, no one wants to sit with me, you feel unwanted. So then you're going to go into feeling of being unwanted, and perhaps maybe the predominant emotion is that you're going to be sad. And then your behavior is to withdraw. Maybe your behavior is to shed a tear. Maybe it's to leave early. Maybe it's to shut down and not talk to anyone. And then you're going to have more thoughts of, why doesn't anyone like me? And then it's going to perpetuate that feeling of sadness. the emotion of sadness, and then that feeling of being unwanted, which then will be a core belief that one has internally. And that voice of the core belief is the one that is speaking and giving life to that thought in the first place. And then that thought drives everything else. So there's great power in our thoughts because unconsciously, they create our internal environment, our emotions, and our feelings, which then drive our behaviors. But the superpower is that we have choice. Do we want to engage with this thought? Do we want to allow it to go to the next stage where it produces emotions and our feelings? Or do we want to let go of that thought? Not engage with it. If you think of yourself, like if you think of the quiet voice inside your head that is listening to the roommate inside our mind, like Michael Singer calls it in his book, The Untethered Soul, great book, by the way. He calls this chatter in our mind like this roommate that essentially just doesn't ever be quiet. You are the one that is listening to these thoughts. So it's almost like you're watching cars on a highway going by, like picturing that each car is a thought. So you get to choose what thought you want to engage with. As an example, you get to choose what car you want to stop on the highway and get into. That's our superpower and our choice. When we are unconsciously getting into cars on the highway that are not helpful, we're going to feel that in the form of our emotions and our feelings because it's going to feel uncomfortable. But know that that discomfort is also going to be the key to your freedom. Because if you step back for a second, say I had I thought the other day that I think I Am Unwanted was the one that I was working through with my fellow classmate. I was working with someone. Oh, it was like not chosen. I was working with someone, and then that relationship ended on their wanting to end our relationship. So then I'm experiencing feelings that I'm not chosen and I'm not wanted. The thoughts that come from the core belief, I am not chosen, are uncomfortable, and the emotions are also going to be not very good feeling from inside of me. But once I pay attention to it and I realize that this is coming from a negative core belief that was acquired in my childhood based on what I was experiencing with my primary caregivers, not to the fault of their own, but just because of the circumstances of life that was surrounding us at the time and the poverty that they grew up in a small village in Greece. Whatever the scenario was, it created this core belief inside of me that I'm not chosen. So when I find myself in situations where that core belief starts to create thoughts because it's alive inside of me, and the wild thing about core beliefs is they always want to be proven to be right in their existence, so they'll search for proof to validate that which they say, even though it's not very good for us. It's because it's what they know, and they want to perpetuate that belief by feeding itself. So we constantly find evidence to feed it. But now that we have tools and modalities such as cognitive behavioral therapy, we know that one of the ways to undo is to examine the evidence and look at the other things that happen that disprove that core belief that perhaps that you're not chosen. Because in life, we are going to experience not being chosen. That's just part of it. Whether it's going to be a friend or a job or a romantic lover, the chances that we are not going to be chosen, which essentially means there is something else for you. But depending on the self-confidence and how you grew up as a child and how you were taught what it means to not be chosen in the first place, you're going to experience now as an adult that in the same way that is a little bit detrimental or like feels devastating. But if we develop different core beliefs and we understand that not being chosen doesn't mean anything about us and it's just a normal part of life and we don't give it any meaning, then we're able to move forward with different feelings and different behaviors, such as not withdrawing from another experience where you might actually put yourself in a situation where you might not get chosen. Like, say, for example, if you are like choosing this work to be a counselor, the chances that somebody will not choose to work with me are quite high. So if I'm not really good with myself, and I know that doesn't mean anything about me, how can I continue in this work and continue to put myself, it's basically like I'm putting myself in the spotlight to experience not being chosen over and over, unless I'm really strong and I know who I am and I make it mean nothing about myself. That will be the only way that I can move forward with this job without allowing it to take me off course and or not put myself out there and or continue with my private practice and so on and so forth. Same with connections. If I decide to ask someone out and there's a chance that they might not choose to go out with me, or they might choose to end their relationship a month into it or 2 months into it, when I have the self-confidence and the ability to make that not mean anything about me and just maybe mourn the loss of that connection, but have faith, unwavering faith, and knowing that something else is meant to come in for me, then it doesn't prevent me from putting myself out there in the same way again, because also my emotions and or feelings are going to be more positive. It's going to be like more settled because I'm just going to be grateful for the experience, understanding the experience. It's easy to say, even for me, but it's hard to do because I still get caught into my thoughts. My thought pattern, once I realized that I have full control over it and I started to change it from the get-go that I wake up in the morning, instead of my thoughts being like, oh, it's just another day, it's going to be so busy, it's so rainy out, it's so dark out, I don't want to get out of bed, life sucks, it's Monday again, I don't want to be working, oh, and I have to make my kids breakfast, and like all that. What thoughts are you choosing to create the narrative that you're living? Remembering though that a lot of these are unconscious and subconscious, so unless we fully pay attention, a lot of the times we don't know it, because it's almost like a computer. When we wake up in the morning, we're like a computer that like opens up and like our hard drive is already set, so it like releases neurotransmitters with information right off the bat. But we can be really conscious of it and change it. Our superpower: change your thoughts, change your life. So now I know that I have the power to choose my thoughts. I learned that like at 38. That's a long time I was living without knowing I had that power and or choice. So I choose to think today is going to be a great day. Thank you for the wonderful news I'm going to be receiving today. I've actually now started to go into my daughter's bedroom and do that with her together, because I want to share that, I guess, positivity, like the power of our words and our thoughts is like unimaginable. So if I can teach her this from now, so then she can set the tone of what she wants to experience. And then again, when you go to brush your teeth, or like you look at yourself in the mirror, what are you choosing to say? What thoughts are you having? What words do you have? What do you look at yourself in the mirror and you say? Choose to say the kind, loving, empowering things that you would say to your friend, to your loved ones. Watch your dialogue, your self-talk. What are you thinking about the people around you? Like, what are you thinking about the classes that you're taking or the job that you have. What thoughts are you having? What words are you having about your clothes? Are you grateful? Are you resentful? You can choose your thoughts and your words. And I'm not saying don't be with the thoughts that are challenging. Witness those. And my classmates are always really good because I'm always so quick to want to get out of them and like not feel them and like get to the bottom of it. I'm like, I need to get to the bottom of why I'm feeling so challenging. Like, why is this making me want to cry? But they always give me a gentle reminder. Just be with your feelings and or emotions. Understand where they're coming from. You know, feel them in your body. Where are they? What are they needing? We're not invalidating them. We are accepting them, but we're just not staying there. We're choosing to change that thought pattern while honoring what's going on for us and create a new narrative. This is the basis of narrative therapy. Words have power, our thoughts have power, and narrative therapy essentially is you becoming the author of your own life. You write out with your thoughts and your words that you say and or write, especially the words that you think. Remember, our thoughts create our emotions, which is the energy in motion around us, which is the point of attraction of experiences that are going to come in and bring us. And even those experiences that come in that are brought for us, not to hurt us, they're not done to us, they're brought in for us, for our growth, because the soul yearns to grow, and it grows by feeling the uncomfortable and has a chance to turn it into comfortable, like transmuting that energy. So your energetic point of view can be a different starting point. So when you wake up in the morning and you say gratitude about your legs, about your bed, about everything that's going on around you, about the fact that you even maybe have a family that you get a chance to feed, or you have a job that you get to go to. When you give gratitude, your energetic point of being, when you're like when you're thinking about it in a frequency type of way, like that channel that you're tuning into, the radio, is very different than a channel that would be, like if you have negative thoughts, whatever those might be, essentially like that lead to dread and a sense of like not wanting to get up in the morning. We are 18 minutes. I don't want to keep going to make this video too long, but I feel like I've relayed the message that I really wanted to share with, I guess, the rest of us, because this is something that I didn't know I had complete control over, and something that I could do for myself. So that's been like really liberating, and it's actually really fun to also know that you have the power to rewrite your story. So what story do you want to live? The only person that will hold us back from that story now as adults is our own self, holding on to those old beliefs. And as my girlfriend was saying yesterday, she's like, it's almost like I'm brainwashing my kids, because she's telling them how to live in gratitude and how to live in positivity. And she's really spending time to cultivate a positive self-view and positive self-image in them. And she's like, it's almost like I'm brainwashing my kids. But that's what happens. Society and or primary caregivers and whatever's going on around us, it's almost like they're brainwashing us, which when I hear of brainwashing, I make that mean like you're essentially wiping what's inside their brain and planting in new information. So this information I feel that my girlfriend is planting is amazing. I wish that was what society brainwashed me with, but I learned things such as life's really hard. People get lucky. In order for you to be liked, you have to do and you have to give all the time. Nothing comes easy. Like things of this nature, like very, very, very hard concepts to like essentially have them be a part of your identity every day and have that be your blueprint of who you are as an adult. Very, very different. So we now get to choose. So go ahead, brainwash yourself with all the things that make you feel good. I am so beautiful. I am so kind. My life is amazing. Everything is always working out for me. If one door closes, another door opens. Everything is working out for me. Everything is done for my highest good. Only good is going to come out from the situation. I am so worthy. I am so lovable. Everybody loves me. I am so lucky to be alive. And I know there was one clip that I saw from an interviewer interviewing Louise Hay while she was saying all these positive affirmations. And he was challenging her by saying, but what if everything in my life right now is actually challenging and not working out for me? The basis of that is that if you continue to stay in those thoughts, that life will continue to reaffirm itself over and over. But it's like you have to fake it until you make it. Like it doesn't happen overnight. New neurological pathways, they take 21 to 60 days to really anchor themselves in, and those messages to start being part of our nervous system, therefore part of our thought process, part of our emotions, and that emotional state of point of attraction then to actually be active. So outer life reflecting our inner world. That takes a bit of time, but sticking to it. I am living proof of that. I lived in suffering, but I stuck to it. I did all the work, all the gratitude, all the self-love, and I still do it. And my world has changed around me. Like people that will literally give me the silent treatment now just say like, I love you, which is like wild. But that's how much power we have over our thoughts. Or that's how much power our thoughts have over our life, but that's how much power we have over our thoughts, the ones we want to pick. But subconsciously, I had crazy thoughts that were actually harming me, like no one loves me, no one likes me, why is life so hard? Like subconsciously I had all these thoughts that I even have no idea about, that were essentially running my system and giving me situations where the opportunity to have those be perpetuated over and over, even though they're negative, were very present. Where now I'm working, I was going to say I'm working really hard. No, I'm working really pleasantly. See, even already, I want to say, oh, I'm working really hard. No, I'm working really pleasantly and diligently and rewiring those thoughts so I can keep creating my personality and my personal reality. With all my love and gratitude, thank you so much again for your continued love and support. If you liked anything about this video and our podcast, give it a thumbs up and or subscribe. And comments. I love your comments, any ideas for future videos. I'm also really welcoming that as well. And I will see you next time.